Hey, welcome to another 10 bugs in Age of Empires 2. Let's get started. This first one has to do with villagers getting pushed by sheep. It happens a lot in the early game, but if the sheep is walking at just the right angle and the villager is also walking at just the right angle, the villager will just get pushed by the sheep, which loses a lot of time. Next up, we've got villagers getting stuck in a hole after building a lumber camp. Sometimes when you have a villager that you put inside a hole for efficiency reasons, after they build the lumber camp, they actually get stuck. You can see that if they're not stuck in the hole, they go and chop the wood just as intended. But if they are stuck in a hole, then sometimes they will just go idle and you have to fix them. The next one's a pretty simple one. Just if you haven't noticed, if you go to the leaderboard, it will always tell you that you need to play one more ranked to get your name on the leaderboard. Alright, next up is units coming out of the wrong side of the siege workshop when you're trying to ungarrison them. This is especially apparent when you're trying to ungarrison rams, and it's a very timing-based attack, and your rams just go out on the wrong side and it really slows you down. Next up is units being able to be attacked through corners. You can see this a lot in the early game when a scout is trying to pick off your villager and you're just trying to quick wall them so that they don't die. These next two have to do with formations. If your units are all in a group in a formation that's not line formation, and you issue too many move commands in a row, they'll sometimes just revert back to line formation. Also, when changing formations, your units actually just move forward a few tiles randomly. Obviously, when you change formations, they should just change the formation and not move forward a few tiles, so it's kind of bad. Alright, just a few more to go. This one you'll notice sometimes when you're sending light cav to raid or sheep scouting in the early game, or in this case using cav archers. When you're moving around the side of the map, your units sometimes just get stuck on the edge a little bit and sort of walk into the abyss, or at least try to. This next one comes up occasionally, especially if you use warrior priests. When ungarrisoning warrior priests from rams, they sometimes just freeze, and you can't issue movement commands unless you select them individually to move them back. So if you try to move them, they just stand still and do nothing. And finally, we've got one that's been in the game kind of forever. When you convert a ram or a mangonel that's upgraded past your tech level, and you research certain upgrades, the converted mangonel or ram reverts back to whatever upgrade you have researched. So you can see that in this test, I converted a onager and a siege ram, and they both reverted back to a mangonel and a battering ram after researching ballistics. It also happens with chemistry as well. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll hope to see you in the next one.